What did the prosecutor's office say to justify this decision to drop all the charges? They haven't said a whole lot, but they did say this. After reviewing all the facts and circumstances of the case, including Mr. Smollett's volunteer service in the community and agreement to forfeit his bond to the city of Chicago, we believe this outcome is a just disposition and appropriate resolution to the case. Notice what they're not saying. They're not saying that the evidence wasn't sufficient. They're certainly not saying he didn't do it. All they're saying is that he's already done some community service, and so there's no point in pursuing this. That's what they're saying. That, well, yeah, he tied up all these police resources. He took advantage of racial tensions. He lied. He did all that. But he's done some community service in the past. So, that's essentially the statement. They're also keeping his bond. They said in reviewing the case, Smollett's agreement to forfeit his bond is part of the reason why they're letting him go. Now, that is an insane reason to let anyone go. I mean, whether they're innocent or not, but it certainly isn't a reason that you're giving if the man is innocent. An innocent man gets his bond back. That's the whole point. And an innocent man doesn't have to do any community service either. So this is not what they say. If it's just you're brought up on charges and then they find out that, oh, you know what, there's no there, they're going to drop the charges. There's not going to be any talk of community service or you agreed to let them keep your bond. Joe Maggots, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Interestingly enough, his name is spelled M-A-G-A-T-S, so MAGA T-S. That's the assistant state's attorney. He has specifically clarified, this just happened recently, that Smollett is not exonerated. This is not an exoneration. He says, this is what he said, here's the thing, we work to prioritize violent crime and the drivers of violent crime. Public safety is our number one priority. I don't see Jussie Smollett as a threat to public safety. We stand behind the investigation, we stand behind the decision to charge him, and we stand behind the Listen to this part. We stand behind the charges in the case. The mere fact that it was disposed of in an alternative manner does not mean that there were any problems or infirmities in the case or the evidence. Disposed of in an alternative manner. Isn't that nice? If you ever get brought up on, if you ever commit a crime, and wouldn't it be nice if they dispose of the charges in an alternative manner? But that's very interesting. They're saying that they stand behind the charges. We stand behind the charges, but we're letting him go. Translation, they know that he's guilty as hell, but they're giving him a pass anyway. Nitwits on the left, morons on the left, are celebrating as if Smollett has been vindicated, when actually the exact opposite has happened. I just read for you the statement. They stand behind the charges. And it's not an exoneration. So not only does this not indicate his innocence, but it actually only further indicates his guilt. And it also indicates the corruption of the judicial system in Chicago, which we already knew about. You've got the state's attorney's office coming in, interfering, going behind the police department's back to let a rich celebrity walk on charges that she herself never claims were erroneous and that actually they say they stand behind. Now, by the way, this is exactly what the left thought was going to happen with the Mueller investigation. What they said there, what they were worried about, they told us for 2 years, what's going to happen is that a biased third party is going, in this case Trump, is going to interfere to shut down an investigation despite overwhelming evidence of guilt. Now, that didn't happen with Mueller and Trump. It did happen with Smollett. In the end, it turns out that it's always the liberals who do the colluding. Have you noticed that? This is another case of collusion.